Hey guys, it's Bina, and in today's video, I want to go over something that popped up on stream today. I had a viewer ask me, what is the difference between Diablo 4's endgame and last Epoch's endgame? And then I went into a lot of details, and so I decided, why not make it into a video that I can tell you guys exactly what I feel is the endgame in last Epoch. And I think this video will actually please a lot of you that are wondering, how is the endgame? What is there to do? Are there goals in the game? And what is it all about exactly? So I'll leave you guys on this, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Thank you. Your first RPG, I got to max level. What's the difference in the endgame between last Epoch and Diablo 4? Because I'm just doing Nightmare Dungeons 24/7. So the difference in the endgame, last Epoch has a lot more itemization. It's not like Diablo where you're only looking for rare pair of gloves with this and that, right? And you want to get your aspect with the correct stats. It's like the stats are much more deep, and so you can get plus level to certain skills on items. The itemization is like much better. There's like hundreds of unique items, if not like, actually I don't know how many we have. Do we have 1,000 now? I don't know. There's like way more uniques. There's set items, which arguably right now are not in a very good spot, but like there's uniques, there's sets, there are legendary items that actually level with your character, which gain stats. There's on every unique has a chance to drop with legendary potential, with the amount being 1 to 4. And so because items have 4 stats on them maximum, like 4 affixes available for them maximum, you can get a unique with 4 legendary potential, which means that you can infuse a rare item into them by doing a dungeon and then crafting it. It's like the gear chase is like, yeah, the gear chase is like so much better. Like for example, you have like, you can take a unique, let's say this unique amulet, and I could grab another amulet and put all of these stats into it if that amulet has 4 LP. So you do this boss, and then it's based on the level requirement of the item, of the unique. So the higher the level requirement, the higher the difficulty of the boss that you have to kill to be able to like imprint another item into that item. Like it's kind of crazy. Like the gearing up feels so much better, and that makes it so that you always have a goal, right? Right now in Diablo, it's like, okay, getting to level 100, like I'm just gonna blast Nightmare Dungeons, and you know, my build clears the entire game. Last Epoch is quite the same in a way that at the end of the day, you're pretty much only going to be mapping, right? You're going to be mapping. You might do some arena. There's a leaderboard, which actually, there's a leaderboard which is arena style gameplay with waves of monster coming at you infinitely. So you can do that. So you can always push your character more and more. And the mapping system, which is called the Monolith of Faith, is actually an infinitely scaling system as well. So that infinitely scaling system scales with something called corruption. That corruption increases the difficulty of the monsters and the amount of items that drop. And by that same way, it increases the amount of good drops that you get, because you just get like a way bigger amount of items, right? So item rarity and quantity in this game is actually kind of just quantity. But so you have 2 infinitely scaling endgame system on top of having dungeons, which each have their own small niche mechanics to them. So Temporal Sanctum, you press a key on your keyboard and you swap in between 2 eras. So you swap in between like the Void era and another era, which have different monsters. And you can even avoid attacks from monsters, like big telegraph attacks, by swapping like from one to the other. That is actually a mechanic of that boss as well. There's like one big attack that she does. Like she is called a Chronomancer Jolra. And basically, if you don't avoid that attack, you just get a one shot. Like 99% of builds get one shot by this if you don't avoid it. So it's Monolith infinitely scaling, the mapping system, Arena infinitely scaling as well, dungeons, gear chase, character building because you have transformative skill tree that drastically change the way any skill is utilized, right? You could like convert your glacier to something else. Like, say you have a cold skill and you want to convert it, you can't do so. You have a skill that is just like a regular attack, then you can maybe make a channeled skill. You can maybe you can like do so many different things, right? For example, Flame Rush is fire. You can convert it to lightning. You can convert it to cold. You can have this skill proc another skill, consuming some of its mana, but it's going to use the actual skill tree that you're spec'd into, and it's going to give you the buffs related to it, like Lightning Aegis, or like, there's like so many different things and so many different pieces of the puzzle, but it's all made in a way that is quite easy to understand, and it's very, very deep, but not very complex. And then you also have the passive skills that you can mess around with. You have idols like in Diablo 2, which are kind of like another slot for gear, which you unlock as you do quests in the campaign. And then the more you have at the end of when you're completely done, you have all of these little squares unlocked, and you can like fit different type of idols. For example, this idol, right? So they give you stats. There's class specific idols. There's like so many things in this game. I think I've went on a little bit of a of a monologue here, but this is pretty much the comparison between like what makes Last Epoch very enjoyable and what makes Last Epoch a game where you set yourself some goals and you always have something to strive for. It seems like a lot, but it's not. It's really like, it's not that much. It's not complex, at least. It's not complex.